Good morning, gardening friends. Thank you for tuning in to May Garden Tour Part 4. Grab a cup of tea or beverage of choice or a snack and come walk with me through the yard. Got the marigolds, the red, safari red marigolds. I got those planted, and the blue Victoria salvia. Catmint, still looking good. The border here, lamb's ear, that's starting to bloom. Also coral bells, heuchera, purple palace, I believe that was called. So in the front here, I've got knockout roses. This is a fuchsia color one, and then a very fragrant yellow rose. It's just starting to bloom, but it's super fragrant. If you're new to my channel, you know that I alternate with the red marigolds and the blue Victoria salvia in the border. New this year is the lamb's ear and the heuchera. And then I might add another short plant in between them to break up the silver and burgundy. This is a bigger heuchera. Setting flower. Yes, I have weeds to pull. It's a never-ending chore. The cats absolutely love the catmint. Nepeta, which is the blue. I've got sedum in here, autumn joy, which will bloom in the autumn. Another red rose there, and then the limelights, hydrangeas, will be blooming later in the summer. Knockout roses, as I said before, best bang for your buck, especially if you want color all season, non-stop color, and if you want something fast growing. I'm going to try to go faster this time because I had to break up the last video into 2 parts. So thank you for tuning in to my page on our weekly garden walks. Barberries, giving me that burgundy color. Looks good with the spirea. A circle garden here. We have a ring of the Russian sage, which will take a little bit to bloom. And then in the center is the tall Mexican sunflower. New in here, I've planted blanket flower. I have the hardest time getting this to stay alive for some reason. So it's out here in full sun and doesn't get a lot of water unless the rain comes. That's what they require anyway. They don't like their feet to be wet. This is the blue Victoria Salvia. This is what come back from last year. So, I guess you could call it half hardy, maybe. Some will come back and some won't. I guess depending on its location. Potentilla shrub is getting buds on it. This will be covered with yellow flowers. Very bright. I have two more over here, but I'm not sure what is going on with them. They have a little bit of growth on them, but anyway. Annabelle hydrangeas in the back. Setting flower. For the first time. This is their third year here, and I'm just now getting flowers on them. Red daylily. Sedum and lamb's ear. A sedum, I forget the name of it, but that's a sedum ground cover. It is now flowering. I don't know if you guys can see the yellow flowers. I plan on putting a row of the bright green, lime green hostas in front of the red daylilies there. So I will have chartreuse, lime green hostas, the red lilies in the back, and then the white flowers of the Annabelles. This is another hydrangea, moved from the back under the maple. It looks much happier here. And also moved from the back here is the Weigela, wine and roses. So this week I've attacked all this craziness that was growing over, and it still is. But all this was growing over and scraping the side of the house, so I cut down what I could reach. As you gardeners know, it's never ending. We always have our work cut out for us. But that's alright, we'll get it done. Little by little. Don't stress, this is therapy. It's a perfect morning for the garden tour because it's cloudy and it doesn't wash out all the color in the garden. There's that yellow rose. This rose here is about to pop. All those blooms. Limelight's getting tall. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's our Yorkies. There's Little Baby and Addington. Ground cover Ajuga. I'm not sure which variety this is. I want to say chocolate chip. But pretty burgundy color. Filling in good. I thought the frost got my crepe myrtle, but it's coming back slowly but surely. It's always a late It's always late to come anyway. More Ajuga ground cover, and that sedum. Clematis that's getting ready to bloom. It'll probably bloom the next video we do. David Austin roses. My pig planter that I got planted up with the, I call it rose moss. Like a coral color. Hydrangea. Another David Austin, and the clematis here is about done. I've been working on the containers. In the center here on this one, we've got the blue Victoria. And then the red, I think it's Dianthus. And then I'm going to put white in here. It's not done, obviously. But yeah, going with a red, white, and blue theme. Potager garden. Sage is slowing down on the blooms. I'm thinking if I cut it back, maybe you guys can tell me. If I cut it back, will it bloom again? This has been blooming for a month. So, yes, it's an herb, but I would recommend putting it in your flower garden. Rosemary, basil, and cilantro. Dill coming up. I don't always have the best luck with chives, but we have chives coming up in the planters here. Green beans on this side of the trellis, and a sweet pea. In the center here, and I still don't have my trellis yet, but cucumbers. Pumpkins. A couple of different varieties. Look at all these. I'm going to have to divide these. And tomatoes. We've got 3 here and then more in the back. I think this one's Better Girl and Celebrity. Alright. A rose, the peach coral color. It's more coral when it first blooms, and then it fades out to a peach color. Next to the phlox. My hollyhocks are getting really big. Hoping we get some blooms on them this year. This is a Veronica, or Speedwell, getting ready to bloom. And I love how the gardens are starting to fill in, which is what I like. That cottagey, full garden. Nothing formal. There's another foxglove. Speaking of foxglove, my favorite, white foxglove. Love the structure and the color. It's just a beautiful plant. We've got zinnias coming up back here. Some sunflowers and primrose in there. More speedwell, black-eyed Susans. And we just keep filling in. Not much going on in this area. A new blooming perennial. One of my favorites. Spiderwort. Really love this plant. Gorgeous blue color. I don't know if the camera picks it up very well. One of my favorite plants. It blooms earlier in the day, and since it's cloudy today, they'll probably stay in bloom. But on a sunnier day, it would close up around noon or midday. Some irises yet that are still blooming. Baptisia, or Baptista? Yeah, that one is coming up back there. Dianthus. It's a little sedum coming up. Big ears, lamb's ear. There's that phlox getting ready to bloom. More spiderwort. Phlox and lilies in here. This is loosestrife, which I'm thinking about moving to a different area. Blue bottle path I've started, inspired by Lark's perennials. I love the sound of the crows. Is that weird? Miscanthus, Dixieland, I think. Grass. Variegated. Gives movement and texture to the garden. Baptisia. Siberian irises. Hosta garden. Primrose. Just starting to bloom. We talked about that one in the last video. In this vegetable bed, we've got garlic at the end, we've got sweet peppers in the middle, and then squash. And this is still a work in progress, so I apologize. Slowly but surely. We've got strawberry at the end, a watermelon, I believe, and the rest are different varieties of tomatoes. So I think today this is going to be my project, is to get all the weeds out of here. And maybe mulch or put down some topsoil like this. I did, however, get most of the weeds out of here this week. There and there. Joe Pye. There's that salvia. Another spiderwort. More chartreuse color. And the peony. Gorgeous. I think these are prettier than roses. Peony or peony. I've got another one here. That's a new plant. Transplanted some black-eyed Susan. Elderberry. Back here. Oh, it's got a bloom on it. Elderberry. To fill in this corner here. Will look good against the white. Bee balm. Like a fuchsia color. GM. Sunset Blaze or something like that. Part sun. Really brightens up a shadier area. And the Chattahoochee phlox. Wildflowers. Pretty yellow rose. Of course, all the blooms are facing the fence, but all this mess. This is for Halloween. Our haunted yard we put on every year. So some of the limbs I save, and I will use for different scenes or put them in the graveyard in the front. So that's what all this mess is. Alliums are slowing down. This is a Astilbe, white. hollyhocks, phlox, gladiuses, black-eyed Susans, lilies. There is a hardy hibiscus in there. So that's how the gardens look right now. I want to thank you guys for watching. Everybody take care and be safe. Happy gardening.